Hi everyone! Today we are going to make some holiday cards together. If you are new here, my name is Thea and I make videos mostly about bullet journaling and art. These three designs are quite simple to do and I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial how to make these. The first card we are going to make is the simple holiday card with snowflakes, and for this one you will need some cardstock, a white pen, pencil and eraser. Because a black card would have been a little too dark in my opinion and I didn't have brown cardstock, I started out by gluing some dotted craft paper to the black cardstock. The dots make the drawing process a little bit easier because you can use them in your advantage when creating symmetrical snowflakes. I also cut out a tiny piece of paper of the black card as I didn't place the craft paper exactly in the middle. Next I sketched out the basic shapes of the snowflakes so they would be as symmetrical as possible. For the most of these I drew 3 to 4 lines, and I would say making 4 lines in total is a bit easier because then you will just draw 1 vertical line, 1 horizontal line and 2 other lines to divide the empty space between them. When you are drawing snowflakes you can vary the size of them and also the amount of points they have. Now we will start drawing over the sketch with a white pen. After the basic lines you can add some different shapes to them, like this diamond pattern that I'm drawing to every other point. Fun fact, this is actually called salt licorice pattern in Finnish. I also drew this rounded leaf shape, or you can think of it as a heart shape too. On the top part of the point I drew these little V-shapes that are very common when you look at snowflakes. And to finish off this doodle I drew the diamond shape again and some little dots to the empty spaces. The mini snowflake is the easiest to draw as you only add the V shape to each point. For the next big snowflake I drew 3 lines and added this kind of star shape in the middle. You can think that each point should be in the middle of the empty space between the lines, if that makes sense. The other decorations that I added are the same rounded leaf shapes and diamond shapes that I drew in the first snowflake. So in summary, I will add some basic shapes to the points, and those are the diamond, leaf, star and V shapes. The rest of the footage is quite sped up, and if you feel like this is going too fast, you can always pause the video or play it with slower speed. This is also my first step-by-step tutorial, so I would love to hear some feedback from you so I can make these better in the future. To finish off the card, I drew these little sparkles to the empty spaces. It's like a plus sign, but you just leave the middle part empty. Then I lettered Ihanaa joulua, which means have a lovely Christmas in Finnish. I'm actually going to give these cards to my friends and family, so that's why I'm writing in Finnish instead of English. Now we are going to erase the pencil sketch, and then I went over the text again just to make it more visible. And now our first holiday card is finished. This took about 30 minutes to make, but keep in mind that I'm very slow at drawing and I was also filming at the same time. Okay, next we are going to make this leaf pattern card. For this one you will need some cardstock, paint pens, gold gel pen and a white pen. I'm using Archer and Olive Acrylograph pens from Jewel set, but you can use gouache or acrylic paint instead of paint pens too. To draw these simple leaves, you are first going to draw the stem and then add these pointy leaves to them. Sorry that my hand is in the way, I will show you some footage from the other angle so you can see better what I'm doing. If the finish of your paint pens isn't very smooth or opaque, you can add another layer on top like I did. By the way, you can definitely use some normal markers for this as well, but then the black paper might not work, so I would use lighter color cardstock in that case. After the leaves were ready, I added some lines to the middle part with darker green color. Sorry about the blurriness, my camera decided to focus on the tip of the pen instead of the card. It's going to look better soon, I promise. Anyway, next we are going to add some red berries to the empty stems that we drew with darker green color. Next to the first leaf doodle, we are going to draw a golden leaf doodle which has the same shape as the first one. This time we just are not going to color it in. If you want to do a quicker card, you could draw just leaves without coloring them in. For the third plant, I drew these bigger and rounder leaves and added some big golden berries. For the details, I added lines to the middle with the lighter green acrylograph pen. These are basically the 3 different leaf doodles that we are going to repeat to create the pattern. To make it look more pleasing to my eye, I drew the leaves in the same order. The first leaf is lighter green one and the last one is the burgundy red one, so that the light green leaf is always in the right side of the red leaf. After the bottom part of the cardstock is filled, we are going to turn the card around so it's easier to see where you should draw the next leaf. As you can see, I like to draw first the stem and then add the leaves on it. You can draw multiple stems that go in different directions like I'm doing here. Now you can see a little bit better how I draw these pointy leaves. Before the leaf itself, I draw a little stem and then the pointy leaf shape which I color in. When creating a pattern, I try to add leaves in a way that there won't be too many empty spaces between each plant doodle. I also rotate the card as I draw because it's easier for me to see the shape when the leaf isn't upside down. Here you can see better the dark lines that I drew in the middle of each leaf. This is a tiny detail but very important in my opinion as it gives more variety to the plant doodles. When I'm adding the berries, I try to place them in the empty gaps between the leaves. Now we are moving on to the last 2 doodles. I didn't sketch any of these beforehand because I wanted to go with the flow with this card, which made the process more relaxed for me. If you want your pattern to be as symmetrical as possible, you can definitely sketch them out, and that way you can also make sure that the text will be exactly in the middle. Anyway, as you can see, I turned the card around once again, so it's easier to see the shape of the plant. Plants usually grow upwards, so I feel like this helps me figuring out the direction of the leaves. Now that the plant pattern is ready, we are going to write the text in our card. I first sketch out where I want the text to be so I can make sure that it's centered in the empty part of the card. I felt like my first sketch was too close to the red leaf, so I erased it and wrote it again more in the left side. After sketching, we are going to write over it with a white pen. I'm writing Hyvää joulua, which means Merry Christmas in Finnish, but feel free to change the text to your own language. When the text has dried out, we are going to erase the pencil marks, and after that this card is finally ready. I really like how this turned out, and the black background makes the colors pop nicely. Now it's time for the third card with a reindeer illustration. For this one you will need smooth watercolor paper, acrylograph pens or other paint pens, cold watercolor and brush, and a white pen. Oh, and pencil and eraser of course. First we are going to sketch the reindeer. I started off by sketching the shirt on the bottom of this card. For the shirt we sketch out this kind of half circle shape and add a rounded rectangle for the neck. After that we are sketching the reindeer's neck by drawing 2 vertical lines. For the reindeer's face we are first going to draw an egg shape that is upside down so it's wider in the top and more narrow in the bottom. Then we will add a nose, which is like a triangle upside down with rounded corners. When you are drawing ears, you can think them as a big pointy leaves, as the shape is very similar. For the face, I drew these curvy lines that go from the side of the face towards the middle part of the nose. After the face is ready, we will start drawing the antlers and the details of the shirt. For the background, we will draw a large circle first to map out where the gold watercolor will be. After that, we will sketch out the holly leaves. And now our sketch is finally ready and we can start coloring it in with paint pens. I actually did this illustration in my bullet journal last year and have seen few recreations of it. You definitely can do this with normal markers or acrylic paints, for example, if you don't own paint pens. I first started outlining the reindeer with dark blue acrylograph pen. This part is really easy as we sketch out everything beforehand and just have to follow the sketch to create the outlines. The antlers are going to be like branches, so we thicken the main part of that a little bit so they won't be too thin. After the outlines are ready, we are going to color in the reindeer's face and neck. Then we will add the eyes, which are closed, so you just draw the half circle shape and some little eyelashes. For the face, we are also going to add some blush with pink acrylograph pen, which I had to shake a little bit to get the ink flow. After that, I erase the pencil sketch from the face area so I can see if I'm happy with the face. Next, we are drawing the shirt or sweater with a burgundy red pen. When drawing the details of the shirt, I like to outline the shapes that I will leave white first and then color in the background. For the decorations, we are using the same diamond shapes that we used in the first card and also these kind of plus signs and little dots. On the bottom, we will draw some triangles and then color in the top part. I also made the bottom of this sweater a little bit thicker as it looks better in my opinion. Now we are drawing the hollies and I will show you a close-up soon where you can see the shape better. The leaves are very pointy and here you can see how I draw them. I start on the bottom of the leaf and draw this kind of wavy line which has 3 points each side. Then I just color in the leaf with little strokes. After drawing the holly, we are going to do the same thing on the right side. And now we can finally erase all the pencil marks as we have drawn all the basic shapes. Next we are going to add all the little details to this illustration. To the antlers we will draw some tiny little leaves so that they look like branches. Don't ask why, I just thought it would look cute and I think it does. I used lighter green from the Jewel Acrylograph pen set. By the way, I have an affiliate code which you can use to get 10% off from Archer and Olive. You can find that and all the supplies that I used in the description box. Anyway, now we will add some shine to this card with gold watercolor. As you can see, I will add quite a lot of water to activate the paint. If you are not going to use gold watercolor for this, you don't have to use watercolor paper for this card. You can also use a gold gel pen instead. I decided to make the reindeer's ears a little bit bigger and I also made the eyes a little bit longer in the outer corners. Now we are going to decorate the reindeer's face by drawing a leaf doodle that goes up from the center of its nose. You can also draw a little white line to separate the nose from the rest of the face. After adding some gold dots to the face, we will also add some white dots to the sweater. Now we are almost ready and we will add the final details to the hollies. I outlined the leaves with lighter green color and also drew a little line to the center. You can definitely skip this step if you would like to, I just don't know when to stop adding details. And finally we will draw some little berries near the stems. Then we will just repeat the process on the right side and we are finally done. This card definitely took the longest to make, and if you want to make a lot of cards, this might not be the best option for you. For me it took over an hour, just to give you an idea. I think this would be a lovely illustration that you can frame and give to someone too for Christmas. Anyway, here are all the 3 cards that we made, and I would love to hear which one of these was your favorite. Hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and if you decide to try one of these out, I would love to see your version, so make sure to tag me if you post your recreations to social media. Thank you so much for watching and hope you have relaxing holidays. Bye bye!